I felt that one of the most amazing things was to truly contextualize this plant, within sort of like the historical roots and cultural roots. Because I mean, it's very easy to think of this plant as like, oh, this crazy plant, and all of these are. It's just it could lend itself for easy judgment, and I didn't want that. One of the things that truly spoke to me so much is the way in which we make our myths, our fantasies, and how they inform in a way who we are. One of the most prominent stories, mythologies about Chat is the story of Azur Karneni looking for the water of eternal life. Asking anyone, hey, do you know the story of Azur Karneni? I was just, oh yeah. So everybody around there understands this. It's inside the consciousness of people. And it talks a lot about collective memories as well, when it comes to the stories of a plant. I was thinking a lot about how, if I am talking about Chat, the commodification of a plant, I also want to talk about its historical, its cultural roots, but I also want to talk about what it does, how it feels to be in that space. So in the edit, in the construction, and even before, even in the shooting, that was part of it. That was part of the film. Making this film, in a way, it was a bit of an act of faith. And so there's so much spiritual, struggle and so for me, every time I listen to, or I look at the work by Carrie Mae Weems, Bradford Young, and also, the African tradition that, Heremakono, Waiting for Happiness. Of course, the cinema of, and especially the cinema of Djibril Diop Mambety, which, to me, it's just precisely that notion of doing how it comes to you, just really carving your own path, understanding and believing in that, in your own way of making a film, whatever that means. So yeah, but and also, Tarkovsky, for me is just a huge reference, as well as, the cinema of Bellatar, of the cinema of Apichapong Wirasetako, Ozu. There is a very beautiful sense of time and aesthetics of time that spoke to me more than anyone. Just really, yeah, it did something. And there is, in Mexico, and at some point, there was Carlos Regadas as well. These are people that I was encouraged by when we speak about, colonial cinema or, decolonizing cinema. We're also speaking, it's not just the image, but we're also speaking on the mode of production, And so for me, what does that mean? In a way, for me personally, it means being able to first of all, it means to have a very clear intentionality with which you're approaching your shoot, or in which I was approaching my shoots. And that intentionality involves, the first one is an incredible, radical reverence for people that I'm shooting, and respect. It's how you position yourself in relation to the people that you are recording. You know, to me, these people are custodians of the land. These people are people that have all the wisdom that I personally don't. And these are people that have stood up, you know, have fought to hold on to their lands uh, against land grabbing by all these subsequent governments, you know, for you know, historically. That, you know, that gives, you know, so in a way, when I am approaching these are the people who I am approaching. This is what I have in mind. You know, not only that, the relationship that you want to create with people. For me, having taken 10 years in a way to make this film, people understood and also gave me my place. There is a trust that is being built. And in a way, what that does, and also because you see, I am there to learn. I position myself in a place of learning. So to me, yes, the mode of production, as I was saying, it's definitely matters because at the time, even though it felt very hard that I didn't have any you know, support or funding, it was truly, I mean, in retrospect, I can say it was the best thing that could happen to me because I was able to retain a complete autonomy on creative decisions, not only creative decisions and decisions of production and what was going to be done. And you see, that I feel at a high cost, at a high cost, you know, it costs, the cost is time. Because I mean, as I don't know, I'm a mom in New York, you know, so I could only, you know, save so much, and I'm not like independently wealthy or anything like that, you know. So I had to work hard to be able to put money into this and do it as an individual. So, but that over time it really taught me something. I feel that in this film, you know, we're talking about the Oromo struggle that is completely invisibilized in the history of the country. These are people that have waged struggles against their land being taken away for longest time. And so, you know, there was a lot of, for me, again, positioning myself as a person who is recording the wisdom of people, and having, like, you know, supreme reverence and respect. It's not that hard, you know, like, because these are, you know, my grandmother is also Oromo. I mean, I love the language. I was honoring the language. I was honoring the tradition and honoring the people that are in the struggle. So to that speaks to me. In those senses, I feel that, yes, my film definitely is part of the 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 notion of decolonization, or, you know, and for me, like, I could say it's a cinema of liberation, you know. I think about it as a cinema of liberation, liberation in you know, in the aesthetics of, I mean, visual aesthetics, aesthetics of time, aesthetics of politics, aesthetics of everything, you know. I feel I wanted to create that space where I felt free from any, you know, preconceived anything, preconceived anything. In the way that I see this, these stories and histories have emerged as I was shooting, I also want to bring that in every single thing that we experience, me and people. I want to bring that in the edit. And it doesn't have to make sense to anyone. I'm definitely not playing to the white gaze. It doesn't matter, you know, doesn't matter. I owe it because not because of me personally, but because I believe that, also having grown in Ethiopia, have, Ethiopian father, and having witnessed so much history in that place, and the experience that I've had in shooting and relating to people, something must have gone inside of me that will guide the edit. So I'm going to be, I'm going to follow it. I'm going to follow those intuitions. That's it. And I feel like, yes, that for me, that is a cinema of liberation, liberating the structure, liberating, the visual, liberating, just I feel like the construction of the film was very important, and the construction of the film was very guided by how the it's allowing the poetics to emerge, I'm not forcing, it's allowing it. And that came also through the time, like I shot for like 8 something years. So that time must be worth something. That is what it's informing me, the sense of time in the edit, in the construction of the film, in the shooting of the film. So I was giving myself all the permission in the world to create that space of liberation, and allowing that intuition to guide this. For me, I identify myself as Black, and that is not to say that I'm not Ethiopian or I'm not, African, of course, that's, but I live here in the US. And in the US, for me to say I'm Black, it's also a very intentional political statement. There's white supremacy and there is patriarchy. And those two things, many other things too, but those two things as translated within this industry can definitely do a job on you, so for me, it was I learned the hard way in a lot of, in the making of a lot of the films. I learned the hard way, but I understood a thing or two of how the dynamics and how insidious, that is, and how it operates. I understood, and so therefore, to me, I understand it. Understand it's there. And if I can operate outside of it, I'm happy to. But having said that, there's nothing like coming to yourself, and knowing the places where you find that support. And my base of support has always been the Black woman. So I have no doubts I don't feel like I sit in the middle when it comes to who I am. I'm a Black woman, and that's it. Everything else can come after, but that is what that's where my sense of identity comes from. I'm very happy to know that we're going to be able to share this film with Latin American, and now especially in Brazil. So for everyone who's coming to the screening, I want to thank you so much for taking the time, and I hope that you enjoy it. We definitely made it with a lot of love, so yeah.